Hey y'all, hey. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this for an hour. We're gonna see if I can do it or not. For one. But hey y'all. I'm gonna share. Bear with me. Do. Okay, I guess that's all I can do at the moment. Hello. I don't know who just gave me a like, but then it's not showing up there. Up there? Maybe that side because I think it's opposite for y'all. Okay, so I am coming on here. So those of you that know that and follow me knows that I am in the process of starting a podcast, and I do have a which I don't know if I can do that or not on here. Can I comment on anything? I can't put a comment. Oh, I can. Black Wolves. I am tired. Yeah, don't judge me, okay? Pretty sure that's what the name is. I'm still trying to remember, y'all. Okay, so I'm doing Black Wolves Confessions with Jax. Hey, A. And I am going to be starting to put some content out because I don't have a choice. It's not that I don't have a choice. I do have a choice. But I'm very much feel like I'm getting drawn to do this more and more and more, and I really just need to get on there. Hello, user. And so I am gonna start going ahead and talking about some things like, I'm sorry if this is a little shaky, bear with me, okay? I can't find my stupid phone little holder thingy, but I want to keep creating content even if I can't find it. I just moved into this house. Okay, I can't even say that anymore. Hi, Sarah. Moved in this house in March, but I have ADHD and all the things that I need on a day-to-day is out, but the stuff that I need for this kind of stuff is not. Hey, Reagan. And so I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to do this, and hope to God that it doesn't annoy anybody. But I am tired, so we'll see how this goes. But like I said, I'm gonna try to be on here for an hour. We'll see what happens. So I'm sorry for the shakiness or anything like that. I'm trying to figure out something that I can do to make this not happen, but I just don't know what I can use at the moment. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. So I am gonna talk about some hard truths of being a stepchild. And this is going to be a little hard for me. I may cry. I don't know. Hence the no makeup vibe tonight. Actually, I do this almost every day, honestly. I don't like makeup, just so y'all know. I love makeup. I'm a makeup artist, but I don't like wearing it often. I like wearing it for fun stuff or whatever, but I'm not an everyday wearer of makeup, so here we are. feel free to share so that we can get my live out there. I am going to go ahead and save this as well, and I'm probably going to break this into parts and post it. But bear with me. And any stragglers watching but not pushing, come on. Thanks for the follow, Jensen. So anyways, I'm going to start trying to talk about some of my past. If I, get out of the frame or anything, it's because I am vaping. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying the word. But it's not because I'm trying to be rude, okay? I know that we can't do it on live, so here we are. But this is a hard topic, and I'm going to do it anyways, and I might have to vape. Anyways, so here we go. For those of you that don't know me, I am a stepchild. But I do have my real mom, and then my stepdad is the one that raised me with my mother. Hi, Piper. And so that's funny. I'm actually watching Charmed, but the new one, but it still reminds me of the old one, and there's a Piper. Anyways, no joke, it's all my TV paused at the moment. I stopped doing what I'm doing to come on here, just so you know. So, hi, Britt. So anyway, so I am trying to figure out exactly how to tell my story, about how to go about everything. I am starting, hopefully, a podcast soon, but obviously I need to build my following first before I can do any of that. And so thanks for the like, sister. And it's going to be called Black Will's Confessions with Jax, and it's basically a take on feeling like the black sheep of the family. I always have, but I also feel like my family's dynamic is extremely interesting. I feel like we all four of my siblings felt like the black sheep of the family. So I think that's going to be the interesting thing. I'm not going to tell y'all about my siblings, because that's not my story to tell. If they want to tell it one day on one of my podcast episodes or something, that's up for them to do. But I do feel like that is the truth. I could be wrong though. But I know for me personally, I do feel like we all felt like black sheeps of the family in some shape or form. So for me, I do feel like I felt like the black sheep because I was a very interesting child growing up. I went through many stages in my life. I went through a goth stage, a punk stage, a country stage, a preppy stage. You name it, I probably went through it. So that's probably part of why I also felt like an outsider, where both of my brothers were very similar, even though they weren't blood, which was interesting. And then my little sister, the one that is on here right now, I still didn't even really felt like I looked like her growing up, to be honest. I just felt so much like I was the only one that looked like me, even though I looked just like my mom. Just saying. Nurtureverse. Oh. Yeah. So, yeah, they just really looked so much alike. It was crazy. I don't know. It was weird. So for me, even though I looked identical to my mom, because I do, anybody that knows us knows that I literally look identical to my mother. There's a little minor details that aren't the same, but for the most part, I look just like my mom. But for the rest of my family, I didn't look like any of them, in my opinion. It's just how I felt growing up. Um, Later on, I realized that I really do actually look a lot like my sister, which I think was funny. Um, I don't think that I really realized it though until I lived in California for a little while, and she came to Cali to come visit me and my ex-husband, and I really starting to realize that she really did look like me. And but I was already an adult, so all the damage was already done by then, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it than that way. It was very interesting, and so yeah, there was that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember you were 14. You were tiny. You were a little bitty teenager. But that's when I started realizing that we looked alike. But for the rest of my family, I didn't feel like I looked like them still. And so it was very interesting. And then I always just felt like there was a part of me that was missing my entire life. Like I always wanted my real father in my life, even though I heard some very, very, very bad stories about him, but I always still wanted him. I know that there was nights that I would cry for him. There was trigger warning. I used to hurt myself. So I'm only going to say that because I wanted him. So, and so there's just things that like I didn't feel like me, I guess, because of that. And I just always felt like a black sheep of the family. I was very much outgoing and which was really funny because I was also really depressed all at the same time. Don't ask, but I was very much the light of the party all the time. I was bubbly, always talkative. Obviously, later on, I found out I was ADHD, and so that probably says a lot of the reason why I was the way that I was, but that's okay. But I didn't find that out until my late 20s, early 30s. So, granted, I kind of already knew, but I just didn't know. I was never diagnosed until around then, in my 30s, early 30s. And so, thanks for inviting people. And so, basically, I am... Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out, how to, like, say all this, one, without crying, because I really don't want to cry tonight. But also to kind of, like, tell you the gist of my story, I guess. But basically, so I used to do that stuff, and then, I know that at one point my real dad came to visit me, and I was, like, really let down. It was for my birthday, and, I think that like, honestly made things worse, because I don't think that I started self-harming until after he came, if I remember correctly. And so, but I still wanted him. Like, I still felt like a piece of me was still missing, even though it wasn't a good experience. Like, he drank. I only remember one good experience. We played this game, I guess quarters, but it's not like the quarters that y'all are thinking. Like, you would throw money against the wall and whoever was the closest won the money kind of situation. That was like the only good part of the entire visit. However, there's a language barrier. That's another problem. Like, so I don't even know how we really communicated well, because we were alone in a hotel with him. And that was weird. It was interesting. But anyways, but yeah, I just always felt different. Like, my family that I grew up with are all Hispanics, and so some of them accepted me and some of them didn't. Some of them pretended, I think. I don't know, really. I can't really speak for them. There's one in particular person I'm thinking that I'm thinking of pretending. My sister's probably knows exactly who I'm talking about. You don't have to name her. But I just feel like, even though I know that I'm very loved by my family, and at least most of them. Oh, thanks, sis. Like, I still feel like it wasn't my family, I guess. I know you're laughing at me because of what I said, because you know. I don't know. It was an interesting situation growing up in this type of, I guess, dynamic, being one of the very few white people in the family. I think there was, a total of 4 of us, most of it. And then, obviously, the half-breeds, but that doesn't count. I'm not counting that, because y'all still look Hispanic. 4 or 5 total of white people in our entire huge family of Hispanics. And so, like, okay, first off, I'm going to pause there for a second, because I know that what y'all are thinking. I am going to put out there, it's really funny, because even though my family are a bunch of Hispanics, I'm the one with the green card. So, I always thought that was very interesting because I'm the white girl with the green card, and I have family that are nothing but Hispanics for the most part. And so that was always very interesting to me as well, because like I am constantly worried about like immigration and all of that stuff, but so was my family in a way, but they weren't at the same time, if that made sense. But it was a different reason for them though than it was for me, I guess, if that makes sense. So I felt like we could have related on that aspect in some ways, but then again we couldn't, because I'm white and I have white privilege, as everybody thought. And so although I understand that concept of having the white privilege and all of that stuff, I get that. I totally understand that. I am not going to dismiss the fact that I am white and I have white privilege, okay? But I also am an immigrant. So there was a lot of things like growing up, I actually didn't get my green card until I was an adult. And so I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I didn't have a normal teenage years of like learning how to drive and all of that stuff. And so that part for me was also really hard, because as I'm learning in school and whatnot, like most immigrants are from Mexico. And so, but yet all of my Hispanic family, right, all have their social security cards. Like, hello. And so I think that was like a very interesting dynamic for me to, I guess, live in a way. Because even though I had white privilege, as a lot of people would say, because they're like, oh, you're white, you're fine, blah, blah, blah. No. Because I wasn't even allowed to drive. I couldn't get my license. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't do any of that. I babysat mostly. I tried to get a job at a pizzeria. I got that for a little while. Shouldn't have done that, by the way. But it was just something that was just very interesting to me, because like I'm being taught in school and all of that like Mexico heritage people are dealing with immigration and also dealing with all the same stuff that I'm actually dealing with. And my family is Hispanic. And that was the really interesting dynamic. And don't ask why that bothered me so much, but it did, because it was like, again, it's the whole white privilege thing, I think, maybe. I don't really know. But like I said, I didn't have a very normal teenage years. I didn't have insurance either. I don't think that was because of my immigration status, though. I just think that just wasn't a thing for my parents to do, I guess. I think a lot of the 90s kids didn't deal with that. from a lot of my friends, they all didn't have, hi Ryan, how are you? Didn't have insurance back then. So I don't think that was really an immigrant situation. But I ended up getting married my senior year of high school. Nothing, just chit-chatting about my story. Trying to like stay focused. I have ADHD though, so bear with me. Anyways, so I got married my senior year of high school to my first husband, and we made a deal with my parents so we could get my green card and all of that stuff, and that never happened. He instead built a fucking computer instead. That was fun. And so I was still stuck. I felt like a slave. By the way, we also got married because I needed heart surgery. So I also had to get heart surgery in my senior year of high school as well. And that was the main reason why we got married, to be honest. However, because we had to get married because of that, we also made a deal with my parents so we can get my green card. And that never happened. Let me clarify that. And then got divorced within 3 years, give or take. And then got remarried again. And that one at least did my green card. And so I've had my green card for about 12, 13 years now. Give or take, something like that. So I just, like I said, I think it's just a different dynamic, like growing up with a bunch of Hispanics and then them not having a green card and then me actually having the green card and being white. So I think that was also very interesting. By the way, for those of you that are joining out of country, I am in the USA, if you didn't understand that. It's just for immigrants. They have green cards. But yeah, so it was just a very interesting dynamic growing up with being a stepchild. And I really hope that one day my sister will come on my podcast because I feel like her story would be really awesome to share because she was like the glue for our family. And I feel like that put a lot of stress on her. And I would really love to share that story. Sorry, sis, because you're on here and that's the only reason why I'm saying it. Just kind of popped in my head because I keep seeing you liking it. So I'm sorry. Thanks for the follow. Anyways, so there's that. So basically what I really want to just kind of go through, like I wanted to kind of give you a quick rundown of like semi my life, I guess, so to speak. I really want to get into like I said, I have another TikTok. It's called Black Wolves Confessions with Jax. I think it's BW Confessions with Jax on TikTok right now because I couldn't fit the whole name on there. I think I put it in a comment, but it wouldn't let me pin it. I don't know, Brittany, can you do that or no? And so I have started that TikTok. So there is another TikTok. Thank you. I have also posted some videos and I've tagged it in my videos if you go through to my profile. But I am going to start posting a lot more stuff. I'm going to probably do like little short stories about my life and whatnot and just kind of showcase like I said, the Black Wolves is another take for Black Sheep. Black Sheep is just overused. So I'm starting a new trend. Now we're going to be Black Wolves. But I am super excited for this adventure that I'm about to be going on with this. I think that a lot of people need to hear it. As I said in my other live, those of you that joined on that one, I don't know if you know, but there is a, thanks sis, there is a couple that was on 16 and Pregnant and now Teen Mom, Kate and Ty, shout out, that talk about a lot about adoptions and like the trauma that adoptees go through, and also the bio parents as well, and then obviously even the foster parents or adoptive parents, I don't know how you want to call it. They're all going through some type of trauma going through the adoption process. And although I'm extremely grateful that I did have my dad that raised me, like, he wasn't my bio parent, and that is no shade towards him by any means, because it just is reality of it. You can tell looking at us. But I know that there's been trauma around that whole thing. Like the fact that, one, I was brought from a whole entire another country to be in the United States, to be here. Which granted, I probably did not need to be in Germany. I understand that. I get everything happens for a reason. Like I said, I'm tired. Y'all bear with me. But there is trauma growing up, feeling like an outsider and all of that stuff. And there was a therapist. That's where I was going with that. I had to get my train of thought back. Sorry, y'all. There was a therapist on the Kate and Ty Break It Down podcast. I'm obsessed with podcasts, y'all, so I do listen to a lot of them. And she specifically, and I even actually got to write her, and she responded, even though I know that woman is busy, and I was so grateful for it. But the things that she was kind of talking about and everything, it was just so crazy, because I'm like, oh my God, I felt that. Oh my God, I felt that. Ooh, imposter syndrome. I totally felt that. Ooh, hey. I don't think I've ever received one of those on a live before. Thanks, sis. There was so many things that she was saying that I was just like, oh my God, I understand me more. I get it. And so I wrote this therapist, and I will figure out who it is, and I will probably speak on that so much more. But I don't remember her name off the top of my head at the moment. I'm bad at names, just so y'all know. But when I reached out to her and I was like, oh my God, I experienced a lot of this. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, so stepchildren can deal with this too? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. Especially when your real parent isn't there. Hello. It's still the same concept as an adoptee. And I'm like, oh, damn. So I honestly just was not anticipating or expecting to learn something from with this adoptee podcast. I just love Kate and Ty. And so, like, I'm not saying about myself. Like, I wanted to learn about adoptees and whatnot. Like, don't ask me why, but I did. I just felt called to understand adoptees for some reason, and adoptions and all of that. Probably because I've always been told that I couldn't have kids, and I always wanted to adopt, and then I had my own children. So there we are. That's probably part of it. But I wanted to learn more, I guess. And so, yeah, it's a lot, y'all. It's so much. Why am I yawning so much? I don't understand. So, needless to say, I really just kind of want to break everything down to, yeah, it is 10 p.m. and I've been up since 7 something. That probably is why. I gotta be on here for an hour because I'm trying to do something for TikTok. Don't ask. We'll see if I can make it or not. I have another 30 minutes. We'll see if I can do this for another 30 minutes or not. So basically, I really want to break this down and how this also relates to stepchildren, and how it can affect, because growing up, I did, as much as adoptees actually go through this as well, like, you're always told, be lucky, you have a dad that's raising you, even though that's not your bio dad, like yada yada yada. Be grateful because I'm taking care of you, or whatever the case might be. Growing up, I've heard all of those things. And so I feel like a lot of it was more coming from my family than anything else, to be honest. My dad really didn't show up to a lot of functions, to be honest. He worked a lot, so like he wasn't really around for functions that I can really remember. I know we went on vacation on our own all the time with my mom and our siblings and cousins and aunts. Love you too. Night night. And so there's that. And so, like, I do feel like as much as, like, I am grateful for having my dad in my life and taking care of me when he didn't have to be doing that, there's also other things that happen that eventually I'll talk about. I'm not ready to talk about those yet, but I know I will. I just not quite ready yet. But there we go. I wish I would have seen that before. I didn't know. So I just feel like personally for me, I don't like where that is. It's bothering me. Sorry, y'all. She's not even on here anymore. She's going to bed. But where was I going with that? So even though a lot of things did happen to me, I am grateful that he took care of me at the end of the day. He didn't have to take care of me. And I understand that. I totally get that. And however, it doesn't dismiss the fact that I didn't have my real father in my life. My bio father, my sperm donor, whatever you want to call him, because I call him a lot of things. It depends on my mood that day. And so it is something that still haunts me to this day, and it just kind of is what it is. I have to let my doggy out. Hold on one second. You're going to come with me? My doggy needs to go outside. You can go potty. It's dark, y'all. I'm sorry. I need you to move, Mama. I can't get through. Decline. Anyway, so there's that. So yeah. Oh, hey. But I am gonna be, like I said, there's a lot of things that I do want to talk about, and it's going to be some trigger warnings and all of that stuff. And I know I already had a trigger warning in this video, so I don't want to do too many trigger warnings in one video unless, like, I literally dedicate that whole entire episode to just trigger warnings, and I probably will eventually have one of those. I'm just not quite ready to do that tonight, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. This was also spontaneous. I wasn't really prepared to do this tonight, hence the hair and everything. But something called me that I needed to do this tonight, and here we are. So, like I said, so Black Wolves Confessions with Jax, that's what we're going to be honing in on, and that's probably what I'm going to be doing on most of my lives about right now until I get a good following over on Black Wolves Confessions with Jax here on TikTok. If you go to my profile, you can see some of my Black Wolf stuff, and just go ahead and click the link and go follow me over there so I can go live over there, and then I can use this platform for what it's meant to be, which is just for fun, seeds, and all of that. But I do want to just kind of say that there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be really touching on. I'm not just going to be talking about being the black sheep of the family. That's not the only thing that I'm going to be touching on over there. I am going to be also touching on co-parenting. I still feel like, I don't know how or why, but in my little hearty heart, I do also feel like even though you might still have, oh, thanks, hon. Even though you might also have your bio parents, both of them in there, how it also affects you when having a step parent, even though you have your bio parents. Like, that's something that I'm dealing with my children. And so I do want to figure out that whole dynamic and how to deal with all of that as well. But also so I can explain that to y'all so that y'all know what y'all are getting yourselves into. Having a step parent into your children's lives. But regardless if the other parent is there or not. So, oh, thanks. So I do want to touch on that as well, because I think that's really, really important to figure out. I feel like there's something to that. I know how my kids talk to me when I do have them. And yeah, I feel like there's some trauma in there a little bit from all of the shit that they're going through in their life. Also the way that their father, what am I just saying his, but their father did a lot of things. I can see why there's trauma though, but that's besides the point. That's a whole nother episode. Gotta go let my back in. But yeah, so that's kind of something that I'm also gonna do as well. What else are we gonna touch on? Oh, just parenting in general, because fuck, parenting is hard. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've been a parent, newborn, and all the way to your children being in their freaking 40s, okay? Like, parenting is fucking hard. Period. I said what I said. Don't care. Also want to talk about, like, overbearing parents. That's another thing. That's, like, a major one, actually, that I really want to talk about. Overbearing, talking to your children about adult problems and what trauma that causes, because I've actually dealt with some of that trauma. And honestly, part of probably why I am the way that I am. Actually, we are all the way we are because of how we grew up. I know, I get it. But there's that. What else? I know there's more. Oh, thank you. I heart you too. What else are we going to talk about? Like I said, so parenting, co-parenting. I also want to talk about what I finally can, because right now I still feel like the courts are like trying to silence me, and that's a big thing that I really want to talk about as well, is like the fucking court system. It fucking blows. And how to navigate that situation, because that's a bullshit situation that I've had to deal with over the past year and a half. Off of false allegations too, on top of that. Gotta love this system. But I'm legit, like, worried about what's gonna be used against me in the court of law at the moment, which fucking blows. So yeah, I am going to figure everything out on what I can and can't talk about. Because like I said, the courts are trying to silence me, but I'm going to find a way around it. Just watch. But until then, that is coming. It will come. What else? We are probably going to also talk about just like everyday life as well. Depression, anxiety, ADHD, PPP, BD, there we go, I think is how you say that. I might be saying that wrong. Bipolar, all those sorts of things. I want to talk about mental health as well, basically, is my gist of that. I don't want to just talk about, like, phone dying. Love you too. I know I'm at 46%. I'm trying to make it another 20 minutes. Got 20 more minutes of this. We'll see if I can make it happen then. Don't know if I can. So yeah, I don't know, like, I am just trying to really figure out what I can and can't talk about, and also, like, what y'all are gonna really actually need to hear. I know right now there's thousands upon 1,000 people talking about the court system. I know there's so many people talking about trauma. I also know there's a lot of people talking about adoptions. But what I don't hear enough about, and maybe after I have done this live, maybe now it'll pop up, but I don't really hear a lot about the traumatic experience a stepchild deals with. So I really do want to hone in on that, because I'm telling you, I felt like a crazy person growing up, and at the end of the day, if I can even just help one person, I'm okay with that. Like, I just don't want you to feel crazy thinking that you don't belong somewhere, when in reality, your step parent made that choice. And yes, your real bio parent that may not be in your life anymore made the choice of not being in your life anymore. I know in my situation, I was literally removed from an entire country to get away from my bio dad. But he was just abusive. So not that, okay, I say that very loosely. It's a lot worse than I'm making it. And an alcoholic. And so, but I don't remember any of that. And as a child, I didn't remember a lot of that either. Like, the older I got, the more I forgot of what has happened, I guess. Because my mom's like, you used to talk about it. You used to have nightmares about it. But I don't remember any of that. And so I think that's some of the things that I really just want to hone in on. I really want to talk about, like, being rejected by one parent and then getting a step parent to take care and hang on to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot to take in as a stepchild. I'm just saying, it really is. It's a lot. And so that's the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. It is stuff that I don't feel like gets talked about enough. Ooh, y'all, I'm trying, y'all. So, with that being said, I know that a lot of you may or may not be able to relate to this, but I hope that some of y'all can. I also, like I said, really, really do want to talk sorry, y'all. I also really, really do want to just kind of talk to y'all about the, now I lost my train of thought, y'all. No. I hate when that happens, y'all. ADHD is finest. You're literally watching it happen. But again, I do want to talk about the court system. I just am afraid of what I can and cannot talk about. So I am working on that, trying to figure that out. And then, stepchild, and then co-parenting, especially co-parenting. I feel like right now that's like my everyday life, like co-parenting, but parallel parenting is really probably the proper term for that. And healing journey. My healing journey. That's what I was going towards. Yep, there we go. I also want to just kind of talk about my healing journey and what it's taken to heal some of these wounds, some of the wounds that still have not been healed, because I'm not fully healed. And honestly, just FYI, for those of you that are just lingering around, because it says nobody's watching, nobody's fully ever healed. Newsflash. I hate to tell you that. I had 2 therapists tell me that now. That you're just never going to be fully healed. It's how you're managing your healing and how you're handling your triggers that are what's going to help you heal. But you're always going to have triggers, unfortunately, because things are going to happen that you're not going to realize is going to trigger you one day. I learned that the hard way. I've learned that majorly hard way. I have PTSD as well, so like that, yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. And so yeah, all jokes aside, it's really not. I'm being very sarcastic, y'all. But I am really trying to figure out everything, my healing process, my healing journey, and I think this is part of my healing journey. Like, I don't know why, but it's just doing something for me, y'all. It really is. It really is. I am very spiritual as well. I do some tarot and things like that. And so I'm not the greatest at it. I am still trying to learn to just listen to my intuition. I'm very bad at that. I tend to not follow my gut. Which is what gets me in trouble, y'all. Just so y'all know. Majority of the time. And so, yeah, I am trying to just kind of figure everything out and how to heal. And like I said, I do truly believe that Black Wolf's Confessions with me is going to be a very big healing moment for me for some reason. I think getting my story out there and sharing things and is going to help somebody. I just feel it. I don't know how else to explain it than that way, except that that's how I feel. I know that if I had somebody out there that could have told me, especially my teenage years, I think those were the roughest years of my life, was my teenage years. Some of the things that I've learned in my 20s and my 30s, I wouldn't have been so broken. I don't know that I would have made some of the choices that I made. And not that I regret all my choices, because I absolutely don't. Like, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for all these choices that I made, okay? I get that. I understand that. That was part of my journey for whatever reason. But what I will say is that there are some things, some situations that I put myself in that I should never put myself in, just because, why? I wanted love. I wanted to feel needed. I wanted to feel like I belonged. And in reality, I already did. I was already loved. I already belonged. I just never realized it until later on. In my own little way, right? Like, everybody belongs in their own way. So, yeah, I think there's that. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack with me, and there's a lot to unpack with other people. Also, that's another thing I wanted to say too. I am going to also be accepting emails, which again is linked in my bio for my other TikTok-ity. My Black Wolves one. And I want to tell y'all, I really need y'all to send emails, and I will read y'all's stories, and then I will react, give advice, whatever the case is. And I know that it's probably not going to happen right away. Y'all need to build y'all's trust with me. I get that. Trust me. I wouldn't send a story like I'm trying to get y'all to send unless I trusted that person. And I hope that I can gain y'all's trust eventually. But I'm just me. Jax, I'm here. I am really trying to, like I said, I am just trying to really understand people in general, but I also think that by understanding hybrid, myself and others, I can help so many other people. And no, I'm not a fucking professional. Hell no, I'm not. But what I will say is I have experience, and that's something that even some professionals can't say. I'm just saying. I know that was one thing, going back to Kate and Ty really quick, the therapist, she is actually an adoptee, but she said that most therapists out there that are trying to have like adoption credentials, there you go, that's the word I was looking for, actually don't know shit about it. They don't have the experience of being an adoptee. And how can a therapist actually fully fucking comprehend what the hell you're going through if they haven't gone through it, right? And so, yeah, that was an interesting fucking, like, reality check for me, like, but therapists are hard to come by, and yeah, it's, like I said, it's been very interesting. Why does it keep trying to get me to invite guests? And it's not even people that are on my live. It's really interesting. So yeah, I don't know what to say. That's cool. I'm really trying to get you to be live on here. I think they're really scared of Neptune. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're getting scared. I don't know why right now. Neptune's not exactly where they need to be yet. No diss. I get it. They're self-funded. I'm not dissing them, just so you know, but they don't have anything to worry about just yet. They will. Once everything comes together, they will. Just saying. I guess what, I don't know what else to say. Kind of just staying on here because I'm literally very, very close to my hour mark. Does it tell me where I am? Beep, beep, beep. Okay. Hey, mom live for me 3. Yeah. Like I said, I am super excited. Sorry, y'all. I am so distracted right now. Like I said, I'm just trying to make it through the next 10 minutes or so. But I am really excited about all this. Like, I think that it would be, there's some really awesome things that are gonna happen with this, and I feel like it's not just for myself. Like, I think this is gonna really help a lot of other people as well. I don't think it's just gonna help me. I am excited that it's gonna also help me. I feel like on my healing journey to get my story out, I am a little chitter chatter, but I also think that this is really gonna help a lot of other people. Like I said, I still do feel like stepkids don't get the same kind of, I don't know. Hi, Anne. Hi, KK. I feel like stepchildren also don't see, I don't know how to explain this. I also feel like this about adoptees as well. I just feel like adoption has been out there a lot more because of Kate and Ty, which although I'm extremely grateful for, because I would never have learned the things that I've learned if it wasn't for Kate and Ty. Hey, Rick. But like for stepkids, I don't see shit out about that, like, at all. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I gotta do it. I don't know why, but I'm being called to do this right now. My guides just keep pushing me into this, and I have to just hone in on it and do it. I don't know why, but that's what it's telling me to do right now. And so, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know why, but that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm honestly, I don't know. I am super excited about this, but I'm also nervous as hell. I am not gonna lie to you. I am totally worried about what my family is gonna say about this, especially some of the things that I am gonna be sharing. Some of these things I don't even think my family knows about. And so I don't know, like my sister said, like, we just never really, I don't know, how did she's worded this to me before, previously, like, we both felt like the black sheeps in our own way, and it's really funny because she was half Hispanic, so it's really funny. Hey, Jessica. And so, I don't know, I'm just kind of, a little anxious about how my family's going to take this. I truly am. However, I think it's time to get it out there and to talk about it and to showcase, like, all the shit that I actually went through, because I don't think everybody actually knows everything that I've gone through. Hey, cuz. Yeah, she's one of them that probably doesn't know what I've gone through, everything. So I'm really excited. So I'm starting something new, Jess. But I'm trying to get my following up on my actual new TikTok for it. It's called Black Wolves Confessions with Jax. I think it's BW Confessions with Jax. If you want to go follow it. I want to start going live on there instead of on here. I'm not gonna lie, I think I might actually block my mom from it. So, if that tells you anything. But I'm really excited about this new adventure. Like I said, I'm tired of staying silent. I'm tired of not, hold on. Apparently since when does it do that? That's weird. But I am going to start doing some stuff on here. It's just going to take me time, and I might not share as much info as I would, or as much info. Well, I don't know what else I'm going to say other than info, because that's the only word that's popping in my head, as I would actually on my Black Wolves. But I eventually want to turn Black Wolves Confessions with Jax to a podcast eventually, and I want to actually share other people's stories as well. I think it's really important to get it out there, for one, but also, like I said, I am a stepchild, and I think a lot of people don't realize the trauma and impact it has to be a stepchild, especially not having your other bio parent. It's very close to the same kind of trauma adoptees deal with, being ripped away from their parents. So, luckily I only have half of it. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to see the grass is greener on the other side kind of situation. I need to stop downplaying my trauma, right? That's what I keep getting told by my therapist. I need to stop downplaying my trauma. I'm very good at doing that, just so y'all know. So y'all are going to have to bear with me. That's something that I'm going to be working through. But yeah, I'm really excited about this whole situation. I am I can't wait. I can't wait to really get going and hone in. I know I kind of shared a lot of stuff early on this live that I'm not going to go ahead and repeat everything, but I'm really excited. I'm also have a YouTube channel to kind of like put podcast thingies out, like episodes. I am still trying to get the proper equipment. Not that I can't use my phone, but I don't know if I want to use my phone. I don't know. I'm going to try to figure it out though. I'm also trying to look for other shit to make it a little bit easier for me. But I do have a YouTube as well for this specific thing that I'm probably not going to be able to block my parents from, but that's okay. So I'm sure things will be shared over there to them, but that's okay. But I do want to talk about it. I'm ready. I think I'm ready to try to heal this whole situation, and I'm excited. Why all of a sudden am I getting a bunch of invites to be on lives? Stop it. Okay, sorry, y'all. Scroll. ADHD moment at its finest. Anyways, I think that's it. I think that's all I got for y'all tonight. I am excited. I can't wait. I can't wait for this journey to fully, I guess, make sense in my head and actually me being able to compute it on TikTok for y'all, for the world to see, I guess. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.